That single policy marks you out from the other two parties.
Well, the policy is there. I really think tuition fees are wrong.
To raise the cap on tuition fees is wrong.
Government plans to increase the cost of going to university have been passed by Parliament. MPs vote to raise tuition fees.
Tuition fees of up to £9,000.
Thousands of students from across the region have been taking part in a fresh round of protests against the government's plans to increase tuition fees.
The doorstep of the Conservative Party's headquarters. Just 1 week.
It is good for your mind, where you can twist and shout. Let it all hang out, but you won't fool the children of the revolution. Now you won't fool the children of the revolution.
In October 2010, the government announced its plans to allow universities in England to charge between £6,000 and £9,000 a year. This was in spite of pre-election promises by leader of the Liberal Democrat Party and current Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg to abolish tuition fees altogether. Following this came a series of large-scale demonstrations across London, an attack on the Tory headquarters at Millbank, as well as several smaller demonstrations across the country. So what does this mean for the students? Currently, universities are allowed to charge up to £3,290 per year. Graduates would then pay back this money once they were earning a minimum of £15,000 a year. From 2012, universities in England will be permitted to charge up to £9,000 a year. This will not have to be paid back until graduates earn at least £21,000, and debt will be written off after 30 years. This could leave students with around £40,000 worth of debt instead of the current average of £16,000. However, those wishing to charge fees of £9,000 will be expected to commit to providing bursaries, summer schools and outreach programmes to encourage students from poorer backgrounds to apply. I spoke to the president of the Students' Union at Staffordshire University to find out their thoughts on the policy and what action they've been taking against it. What do you, as president, think of the government's decision to increase tuition fees for students?
I find it abominable actually that the government is actually trying to put so much burden onto students on something that the government should actually be encouraging and sort of investing in. You know, the students, the normal students that we have, if you come from school or your typical undergraduate coming to university for the first time, you are the future of this country. So why is the government saying, we're not worried about you, you can go and pay for it, we don't care anymore? To get anywhere, in business or anything else, you have to invest. The government defends its decisions by saying it's going to help the economy. Do you think this is going to work? No, I personally no, because when you look at it, they're going to make you take out loans, which is going to put you probably £45,000 to £50,000 in debt as a normal undergrad. If you're going into a specialist course like medicine, that's an extra 2 years on top of 3. So you're talking of even more, so you're talking about £60,000 to £80,000 of debt. Then they're saying you've got to pay that back for the next 30 years at a reasonable interest rate. So basically you're going to pay back double what you're actually being put down as a loan. Yes, it's taking that source so you don't actually see it missing from your paycheck, but it's the fact that they're not letting you know that it's going to cost you so much more for such a longer time. Their reason is, if you earn over £21,000, then you pay it back. Most jobs nowadays are over £21,000, so you're going to be paying back double. There are only a few jobs now which are under £21,000, so you're not going to pay it back. That's fine for some students, but most students are coming to education, and especially higher education, just to make sure that they get a better job. They do earn over £21,000. They want to push themselves. They want to go far. Obviously, it was Nick Clegg who pledged before the election to abolish tuition fees, but as soon as he got into office, voted to raise them. What do you think of that? He sold students down the river. He really did sell them down the river. He made so many promises. He signed a pledge to NUS saying he would not vote to raise tuition fees. He did.